Good morning, Internet. Good morning. It's 1:15 on Tuesday, the 10th of March. Eric Arnold here. Once in a while, I go by the name of the Big E. I'm here in my barn, which I use as my little studio because my wife actually has a job, so she's in the house asleep, and if I am in the house talking about American college basketball, that'll wake her up and piss her off, which would not be good for me. So here we do it out here in the barn, and that's what we do. For all you people that may be from Italy who are joining us for the first time, and you're locked in your house for the next month, my condolences. No sports to watch. I recommend maybe getting some kind of streaming package from ESPN or CBS so you can watch American college basketball. Join us here for the next 3 to 4 weeks and watch the American college basketball tournament. It's very exciting, and if you've got nothing else to do, that might be something that could interest you. Same from you people from Slovakia, although I don't know if you like basketball as much as the people from Italy. And I don't do hockey, so sorry about that. Old business. We had 4 picks tonight. Looked like it was going to be a good night, but it wasn't. We had Ohio early, -5 versus Central Michigan in the MAC quarterfinal game. Ohio was the best, easily winning by 20. We were happy about that. Then at the same time, we had East Tennessee State going in the SoCon championship game. That was largely because we won. It was a nice game to watch. It was everything we like about college basketball. It was a sold-out arena. Both teams are giving it their all. That's why I hate the NBA, the regular season, I should say. The playoffs of the NBA is okay. I detest regular season NBA games because they just play at 3/4 speed all the time, and it just doesn't interest me. I think the college game is so much more interesting because they play hard. Even in sort of not such important, regular season February game, I still think you're getting more of an honest effort from these kids than you do the pros in the regular season. But that's just me. At any rate, that's why I do college basketball instead of professional basketball. It's just a personal preference thing. At any rate, East Tennessee State did get it done, much as we hoped. Wofford did look a little tired. They were just sort of a little off in that second half, shooting their long-distance shots, and East Tennessee was able to just put the arm out enough to keep them at bay to get the cover, 72-58. And then we, like I said, I thought we were going to have at least a 3 out of 4 night, but we didn't. Green Bay led the whole way. Well, I shouldn't say the whole way. They led for a good, I'm going to say the majority of the game, getting 5. And then they just could not hold off Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky got it together and just put some space between them and Green Bay, and they won and covered 80-69. And then Gonzaga. I watched the majority of this game, and I was completely unimpressed with Gonzaga. Looks like they've got size. They have 3 white guys that are about, I'd say, 6'10" or larger. That play no defense, from what I could see. They're slow. They don't block shots. Their on-the-ball defending didn't look very good. So it's possible that maybe they just had an off night. It's possible San Francisco is simply better than what anybody thinks they are. Not sure. Not sure what to think here, if this was just a bad pick or what. But Gonzaga totally did not get it done, laying 13. They only won by 81-77. Oh, the other thing Gonzaga doesn't do is they don't shoot well. It's like, how in the hell is this team like the number 2 team in the country? They don't shoot free throws well. from what I saw, they don't particularly shoot the 3-ball well, and they don't really play a hell of a lot of defense. So I'm trying to think what exactly this team does well. They didn't do well enough against San Francisco, I'll tell you that. So loss. I'm not sure what. I'm saving my comments on Gonzaga because we've got a Gonzaga game here in the new business. Right now, BYU is winning that game. We're going to make an assumption BYU is going to win that game, and we'll handicap accordingly, and we'll get to that in a moment. So, 2 for 2 makes our overall season record 232 wins, 217 losses. That's roughly 51.5%. Well, what else happened today? I guess today was the worst day in the stock market since, 2008? In a way, it's almost irrelevant. I mean, these days, one day's up, one day's down. You know, tomorrow's going to be up because the government, Donald Trump and company are swooping in with some kind of, I don't know what they're going to do, something to try to prop up the market. And I don't even think they know what they're going to do, but I tell you what, it's going to be huge. So you just need to sit back and watch. It'll be huge. Is it going to be huge enough to get me back into the market? No, hell no. Not right away. I mean, I know less about the stock market than I do American basketball, so be advised. I just don't have that appetite for risk. So maybe I'm a pansy. But I'm just perfectly comfortable standing right here where I am on the sidelines. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Isn't that a Chinese curse? May you live in interesting times. Well, right now we got some interesting times going on. You got this virus, which is, it could be nothing. Donald Trump tells me it's nothing. Some other people say it could be something, and I don't think anybody knows. Even the most highly decorated virologist, I'm not sure that's a word. I don't know how to pronounce the words I'm trying to pronounce, so I'm going to look like a fool. So I'll say the most advanced doctor. I don't think even he knows what's going to happen just because it's just a totally new virus and these things are unpredictable, so you just don't know what's going to happen. We're hoping it's just going to die out. I think right now we've had a couple days in a row where it looks like it's trending towards dying out. That's what I think. I mean, Italy finally did the right thing, I think, by just locking down the whole country. Just lock it down. You're not going anywhere for a month. That should help them get their arms around this thing. And keep it from going everywhere else, we hope. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, I don't know. Some days I get all kind of things to say, and other days like today, I don't have much of anything to say. Well, the cheap cigars go out. You gotta continually hit on them, otherwise they just go out. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot to say, so you can just fast forward through this part of me lighting up my cigar again. I don't know why I want this cigar lit so bad. I mean, I could just continue this video without it, but managed not to burn myself. How about that? Alright, Northeast Championship game. I misspoke last night. Well, misspoke means that I don't know what it means. I was just wrong last night. I said this game is going to be at St. Francis. It's not. The game is at Robert Morris in Pittsburgh. Robert Morris, St. Francis of Pennsylvania for the Northeast Championship. Winner goes to the big dance. Storyline, St. Francis of Pennsylvania was in the championship game last year at home, facing Fairleigh Dickinson. They probably were a pretty decent favorite, and they lost. So now they've come back with pretty much the same crew. I looked them up on Pomeroy's website. They have 2 superstar guards who are seniors. I mean, for the Northeast, these guys look pretty good. I mean, the one guy's 24 years old. I mean, they're pretty good pros in the NBA that are 24 years old. So these are some veteran dudes that front for St. Francis. 2 guys in the backcourt that have played so many minutes. It's almost unbelievable. 2 very veteran seniors for St. Francis. And this is their last shot. I mean, this is all year long they've been playing for this moment. Now you have Robert Morris, a very well-coached team. They're at home. They'll probably have their biggest crowd there that they've had all year. Both teams are well-coached. We are taking St. Francis. We just think they're better. I forgot to put stars on the games last night, but they were all 2 stars. And these are all going to be, I believe, 2 stars as well. But we are taking St. Francis. We just think they're better. They've played so well against Robert Morris. Their record versus Robert Morris is very good, and that includes at Robert Morris. Those 2 dudes that I've talked about, one was named Braxton, and I can't remember the other guy's name. But they've played at this arena numerous times. They've had success out there. I think that, the home court is going to matter, but it's not going to matter that much. Francis is better than Robert Morris, and we think that they're going to go in there, and they're going to get the win, and they're going to get the bid. So that's how we're playing that. Hartford. This is, I don't know, is this a semifinal game or a quarterfinal game at the American East? I don't know. At any rate, they're playing Stony Brook. They're at Stony Brook. They're getting 7.5. We're taking Hartford. We're going to do it. I can't very well draw a circle with the cigar, can I? Got too many things in my hand. There. I'll drop some stuff. There. I'm going to drop the... We'll find that later. Maybe we'll find that later. Maybe we won't. Anyway, Hartford is... they've beaten Stony Brook twice. Which the second time, Stony Brook was missing their best player. But that just happened. That was like, 2-3 weeks ago. And Stony Brook, in the meantime, their best player has come back and he's played 2 games. He hasn't played very well in either one of them. So we're kind of thinking the guy's still hurt a little bit. So Hartford, even though the record doesn't seem to be quite as good as Stony Brook's, they've beaten them twice. They're getting 7.5. We think they get a better coach. Hartford, let's take it. Now the rest of these we just count. We're just throwing them up there basically, shooting from the hip. We've tried everything else this year, nothing's worked. So we're just going to try to maybe cut down on the time that we're spending thinking about these games, and maybe just going with first impression and seeing if that doesn't work. Hofstra -4 versus Northeastern. I think this game's being played in Washington, D.C., I believe. And we like Hofstra. Largely because of the coach. We think the coach is better than his compadre at Northeastern. We think Hofstra has a little more of an institutional edge than Northeastern. So we're going to lay the points and take Hofstra. North Dakota State, this game's being played, somewhere in the Dakotas. I'm going to say somewhere in South Dakota. This is for the Summit Championship. these numbers are guesses. I don't believe these games are on the board yet because really these teams just won now. I mean, within the last 2 hours. So they haven't put numbers up there yet. This is my best guess based on the Pomeroy numbers. They may move left, right, up, down. Not sure what your actual number is going to be when it finally gets listed. But, you know, I kind of wanted to pick these games because these are actual playoff games. You know, it's like, oh, wow, there's Pitt or North Carolina playing Virginia Tech. I mean, I just don't care. It's two teams that aren't going to make the tournament. And I just don't, you know, I just don't care. I'm more interested in these games where you're going to be getting a little more want to have it from the two teams. I mean, yeah, all right, I get it. Hartford and Stony Brook, probably neither team's as good as North Carolina, even as bad as North Carolina is this year. But, you know, these teams have played all year in their minor league, and now this is the, you know, okay, well, I'm talking about the wrong game. But maybe this one, this is a title game. All these are title games. All these are title games except that one, except that Hartford game. So, yeah, I want to pick these title games. And anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying these numbers could move around. So this is my best guess. Anyway, North Dakota State -7 against North Dakota for the Summit title. This is another one where we're kind of just, you know, I'm not crazy about either coach, but we do think that North Dakota State probably has a little bit of an institutional edge over North Dakota. You know, this is a team that has, how to say this, almost a legendary football program up there as far as division, the second tier. It's not Division II. What's it called? FBS, FCS. That's it. I mean, North Dakota State, they've won I don't know how many titles up there. They have a really serious football program up there. So, what the hell does that have to do with anything basketball related? Football means money. Money permeates throughout the whole university. Money trickles down to the basketball program. These guys have more money than these guys. These guys have better facilities, I say, than these guys. I have no idea if any of that's true. I just made that up. But I bet it is true. Largely because of the football program. So, you know, we're taking the favorite here. We're taking North Dakota State. These guys are probably going to have more fans at the game. So we're laying the 7. We're going to go ahead and take the favorite. I would wager these guys have been to the tournament more times than those guys. Yeah, I thought, sure, feels good to me. This one, Horizon in Indianapolis, Northern Kentucky. -7 against Illinois Chicago. See, my wife says I have Asperger's syndrome, which I may have some level of whatever special needs. I'm sure I do. You know, I can't just let that cap of the marker sit there when I see it. I've got to pick it up right now. I can't just leave it there. Otherwise, it just bothers me. It bothers me. It bothers me. So, what can I say? I'm you know, not normal. I guess that if that's news to you, this is probably the first time you're watching this video. So welcome. Northern Kentucky, -7 against Illinois Chicago. We like Northern Kentucky. Here's our reasoning. Had to take a draw so I could remember our reasoning. I think we were in the right place with these guys tonight when we played against them with Green Bay. They had that long layoff. And I think we were right. That didn't help them because Green Bay was on them. They were on them. They were beating them. And then, you know, with about maybe 15 minutes to go in the game, Northern Kentucky started to get it. They started to get it. They started to get it. They're better than Green Bay. They're better than Illinois, Chicago. And then they just, passed Green Bay like they were standing still. So we think that the rust is falling off now, and these guys are ready to just go out and kick some ass. These guys aren't very good. In fact, I think the record's just that much above 500. So we're not buying the Illinois-Chicago Cinderella story. We're going to send Northern Kentucky back to the tournament. Back to the tournament? Did they make it last year? I don't know if they went there or not, but they're going there this year. All right, lastly, Gonzaga versus BYU. Again, we're assuming BYU is going to finish off St. Mary's. Here's what we're going to do here. We want to play against Gonzaga in the worst way after the way they performed tonight, because it was sorely disappointing, and I just cannot believe that this is like the second best team in the country. It's just like, holy shit. I mean, this team couldn't beat Penn State. It couldn't beat Ohio State. It couldn't beat Texas Tech. It couldn't beat any kind of power conference team. There's no way that team would beat those teams. Just isn't very good. I can't believe it. I mean, all I can think of is they must have just had a bad night. I mean, that team must be able to shoot better. Maybe they can play some defense. They sure didn't play it tonight. But that's all I can think of is that this was just a one-off deal for Gonzaga. They've already lost once to BYU at Provo. So I'm kind of thinking they are just going to come out for blood tomorrow, I'm thinking. I mean, this is kind of just a Constanza pick. A Constanza pick, George Constanza, for our Italian friends just joining us. He's a character in an American sitcom called Seinfeld. There's a famous episode where George is a loser. Everything he always does is wrong. So he just decides one time, you know what? Whatever I would normally do in this situation, I'm just going to do the opposite. And everything starts working out for him. He does the opposite of everything he would normally do, and everything starts happening great for this guy. So we're taking the opposite of what we would normally do here, which would be, we saw Gonzaga just look awful. We think they are awful. We think they're way overrated. And I just can't, I must be reading that wrong. So we're going to take Gonzaga. We're going to take Gonzaga. We're going to lay the points. BYU, like I said, is that's an impressive team. I mean, I'm impressed with BYU, and everything rationally tells me that's where I should be. But we're going to Costanza this one, and go ahead with Gonzaga. So that's what we got for you Tuesday. St. Francis of Pennsylvania lay the 1. Hartford plus the 7.5. Hofstra minus 4-ish against Northeastern. North Dakota State minus the 7-ish against North Dakota. Northern Kentucky minus 7-ish against Illinois, Chicago. And then Gonzaga minus whatever they're going to be, which we're probably, hoping it'll be 7. The way it'll probably end up being something crazy like 10 or 11. But we're going to take them, Gonzaga. So there you have it, 6. Thanks for being here. Probably we're not going to have one for you tomorrow just because we got a lot of work to do before we get on the road for the weekend. So it's very possible that we may just run out of time tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. The schedule going forward is it's up in the air. It's up in the air. We'll do the best we can. I cannot promise you a time or a place for the next video. What can I do? All right, there you have it. From me to you, Eric Arnold. Good night, good gambling.